Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 231 based on novel. So let's start. The two of Xiao Yan followed the mysterious man with the atmosphere of the Yu family, hiding in the downtown area, and the mysterious man was also extremely cautious. Every time he walked around, he changed his purpose, obviously for fear that people would discover him. So with the help of this mix of audiovisual. However, even if the mysterious man was so cautious, he still couldn't escape Xiao Yang's pursuit. Be careful. And Qing Wen followed Xiao Yang with serious eyes. He knows that the relationship between the Qing family and the Yu family can be said to be extremely bad. If it wasn't for the coercion of the city lord's mansion, I am afraid that the two families would have already fought each other, so he encountered this mysterious person with the atmosphere of the Yu family. People, of course, want to go and find out. And now is the time of danger. Haruman always feels that the Yu family is planning something. Where's the person? And because he was worried, Qing Wen followed Xiao Yang, but turned into a small alley and saw Xiao Yang stopped. Exposed. Xiao Yang said in surprise. As soon as Xiao Yang finished speaking, on the wall of the alley, the mysterious man in black was squatting down, revealing a pair of gloomy cold lights staring at Xiao Yang and Xiao Yang. Boy, why are you two following me? The mysterious man spoke first, his voice filled with an extremely arrogant look. Follow you? Stop being self-motivated, our side is just taking the road. At the next moment, Xiao Yang was also an old man after all. Without any panic, he opened his mouth to greet him. Humph. It's nonsense. I originally thought that the two of you were on the way, but the two of you have been following me since you entered the Ghost King city. So, who are you guys in the end? After the man in black finished speaking, he came directly to Xiao Yang with a domineering aura. It's actually an immortal fighter. After feeling this tyrannical aura, Xiao Yang couldn't help being a little surprised. The reason why he found this man in black in the vast crowd was because he had the same aura as Yu Quan, and secondly, the aura on his body was vague, so Xiao Yang noticed it. As for Yu Quan, he handed it over to the Qing family's subordinates to bring back to the Qing family before entering the Ghost King city. After all, there are still many secret passages in the Qing family. The next moment, a rather mysterious scroll appeared in the palm of the man in black. The scroll had a thick wrist, but there was an incomparably mysterious aura all over his body. Even Xiao Yang was a little surprised. This is Enchantment. It seems that this guy is determined to swallow us. Qing Wen looked at the scroll that appeared in the man in black and couldn't help saying. The Enchantment scroll is a treasure that temporarily conceals a piece of space and disappears from the eyes of outsiders. Although it is expensive, it is better to use. After being enveloped by the Enchantment scroll, it can kill people invisible. Seriously, it was obvious that the pressure that the man in black in front of him put on him was tyrannical compared to Yu Quan. Two boys, die. At the next moment, the palm of the man in black squirmed lightly, and instantly crushed the enchantment scroll, and then circles of black aura permeated from its scroll, and the next moment was shrouded here. It's exactly what I want. When this scene appeared, Xiao Yang's face also smiled slightly. Yu Quan's strength has just reached the middle stage of one-star fighting immortal, and the guy in front of him is undoubtedly more dangerous than Yuchuan, so according to Xiao Yang's guess, his strength is likely to have reached the late one-star fighting immortal. You must know that even if it is a mere small level, the gap between the immortal fighters is very different, not to mention the powerhouses who want to fight against the late one-star fighting immortal. If Xiao Yang hadn't possessed the Holy Flame, it would have been a fantasy if he wanted to use his own power to deal with a late-stage one-star fighting immortal fighter. I just made a breakthrough, let me try it. There was just a hint of seriousness on Qing Wen's face, but he was stunned by Xiao Yang's voice. What? That's a powerhouse comparable to the late one-star fighting immortal. Qing Wen couldn't help but said. Don't worry, it's up to me. Xiao Yang smiled back at Qing Wen. Xiao Yang knew that he had just arrived here and was unfamiliar with life. If he could show his tyrannical strength in front of Qing Wen, he would undoubtedly gain a lot of relationships, and he might even gain some rare things in the ghost world. Intelligence. The two are just kids who have just set foot in Dozian, let's die. The man in black didn't seem to be too worried about Xiao Yang and Qing Wen, and said slowly. As soon as the voice fell, the palm of the hand suddenly lifted, and a fiery red power of fighting immortals, with a terrifying heat wave, slowly drifted out. Without any bells and whistles, it was the fiery red power of the immortal fighting that roared away directly. Because of the man in black's confidence in his own strength, under this blow, the two of them would die. Boom boom boom. The space enveloped by the enchantment scroll was only 100 meters away, but the temperature of such a small space was soared by the fiery red fighting immortal power of the man in black. It's actually a fire attribute. When Xiao Yang saw this scene, he couldn't help laughing. If this man in black's power of fighting immortals is also of the fire attribute, I am afraid that when he really fights, the pressure on himself will be greatly reduced. After all, in terms of fire attributes, I am afraid that no one is more powerful than Xiao Yang, who has the holy flame, the king of flames of heaven and earth. It's good. Xiao Yang shouted loudly, and the Fenju in the body started to run first, and then in the core of the battle, circles of fiery red Dozian suddenly gathered towards Xiao Yang's body and limbs. Boom boom boom. Just when the attack of the man in black came to Xiao Yang's fiery red fighting power, like a flood, poured out at the same time. Bang bang bang. In the fierce battle between the two powers of fighting immortals, Xiao Yang's power of fighting immortals had the upper hand. Oh, you seem to have something good on you, kid. Seeing that the power of fighting immortals dissipated instantly, the man in black couldn't help but wonder. His voice was full of jokes. It seems that your strength in the late stage of star fighting immortal, your proud fighting power, is not as strong as you imagined. Xiao Yang said with a smile. The power of fighting immortals, of course, is related to the strength of fighting immortals. The stronger the strength of fighting immortals in the same attribute. If the power of the fire attribute fighting immortal in the early stage of 1-star fighting immortal is comparable to that of 1, then the power of the fire attribute fighting immortal power in the later stage of 1-star fighting immortal is 1.5. Don't underestimate the power of 0.5. This 0.5 power is enough to cause an easy unilateral kill. In addition to this, there are many other heavenly and earthly treasures that can fight against immortals in advance, but among these heavenly materials and earthly treasures, only Shenyang is the real leader. It is the real king level. Boy, tell the secrets about you. I can consider letting you live. The man in black temporarily stopped the offensive in his hand and shouted at Xiao Yang. Although the man in black worked for the Yu family, he knew too little about the Qing family and some other powerful people, so he naturally didn't know the Qing paper in front of him. Otherwise he wouldn't waste so much talk and directly capture him. Sending it back to the Yu family is a great achievement. In the short fight just now, Xiao Yang's power of fighting immortals with the fire attribute gave him the coercion, but it did not fall into the power of the fire attribute of the 2-star fighting immortal level in their Yu family, which made the man in black greed up. After all, if you don't have the best talents and resources, it is extremely difficult to improve your fighting power, and the improvement of fire attributes can greatly improve its combat effectiveness. Is undoubtedly too precious. Stop talking nonsense. Since this place was already covered by the enchantment scroll, Xiao Yang naturally wouldn't waste time with the man in black. According to Xiao Yang's estimation, although he is only in the early stage of 1-star Dozian, with the power of Fenju and Shenyang, it may be difficult to kill a late-stage 1-star Dozian, but who makes this guy a fire attribute? If it was replaced by the power of fighting immortals with other attributes, Xiao Yang still had no certainty of winning, but if it was the power of fighting immortals with the same fire attribute, Xiao Yang's odds of winning would increase a lot. Because in terms of fire attributes, I am afraid that no one can compare to Xiao Yang, not to mention the strange fires that used to be on the Doqi continent. The current Shenyang alone is enough to increase their own strength. When I capture you, I will naturally press you. The man in black seemed to disapprove of Xiao Yang's smile, and the man in black did not know where Xiao Yang's courage came from, whether he dared to rely on the strength of the 1-star Dozian early stage to provoke himself in the late stage of 1-star fighting immortal. I don't know who gave you the courage to try to challenge me with the strength in the early stage of 1-star fighting immortal. But I'm in a hurry, the game will end here. A trace of impatience appeared on the corner of the man in black, and then he was enveloped in the power of a fiery red fighting immortal, like a flaming lion. Is this a plan to make a quick decision? However, that's exactly what I mean. Seeing this, Xiao Yang also wrapped his body with the power of the fire attribute fighting immortal, and immediately launched an attack on the man in black. However, although the two of them have the same fire attribute, Qing Wen can see that it seems that the power of the man in black in the late stage of the 1-star Dozian is actually not as strong as the power of Xiao Yang in the early stage of the 1-star Dozian. Boom boom boom. The two just fought, fists and feet were intertwined, and the sparks that collided faintly were enough to obliterate a powerhouse at the peak of Do Di. Bang bang bang. After a few minutes of close combat, they still didn't have any chance of winning. Both of them took a step back. This guy is very strong. The man in black gave Xiao Yang a very high evaluation just for a short fight. He has worked for the Yu family for many years and has killed many geniuses, but this is the first time he has faced a monster of Xiao Yang's level. Boy, today, you must die. Fire attribute fighting skills. The lion's roar. The next moment, the aura of the man in black soared to the extreme, and the circles of fiery red fighting immortal power, like ripples in the water, directly took his body as the center and spread in the enchantment. Come on. Shabu shabu. The terrifying sound waves accompanied by the deadly fire attribute power of fighting immortals rendered the entire barrier into a sea of fire, which was quite strange. A sonic attack. Xiao Yang shook his head helplessly. However, Xiao Yang was a little surprised. A normal sonic attack could not cause any harm to himself. How could this guy's sonic attack vaguely make him feel uneasy? Brother Xiao, this is a sonic attack blessed by the power of the fire attribute fighting immortal. The power is much more tyrannical than a normal sonic attack. Be careful. Qing Wenwen felt the huge sonic attack and immediately shouted. Since it's a sonic attack, then I'll use a soul attack to end you. Xiao Yang couldn't help laughing as he looked at the mouth of the man in black who was fighting more and more. Because the man in black still didn't use his full strength, he didn't seem to care about Xiao Yang, but it was this contempt that set him up for defeat. Boy, let's see if you will die now. After the man in black launched the sonic attack, he laughed viciously, his voice extremely crazy. Because the fire attribute sonic attack of the man in black, otherwise it is a simple sonic attack, but compresses the fire attribute fighting immortal power in his body into a sonic wave, so as to hurt people invisible, it is an extremely ingenious fight. Skills. You're underestimating me too much. Xiao Yang smiled, then closed his eyes slightly, and the soul power in his body was vented like spring water. This is soul power. Feeling that Xiao Yang did not make any defenses, and directly summoned the huge soul power, the man in black couldn't help but look unsightly. Soul power has always been the biggest trouble for them to cultivate Do Qi, and except for alchemists and some talented people who can continuously cultivate soul power, for ordinary people, soul power is their biggest weakness. This guy's soul power is so strong. Could this be an alchemist? And Qing Wen couldn't help roaring when he saw Xiao Yang's enormous soul power. Damn it. When did the Qing family have such a monster? No, this matter must be reported to the patriarch as soon as possible, otherwise once this guy grows up, I am afraid it will be a disaster for our Yu family. The man in black turned his eyes quickly and thought. However, when the man in black was thinking, the sonic attack, which was transformed from the fire attribute, turned into a trace of ethereal gas when it touched Xiao Yang's side, and disappeared, and Xiao Yang's body contained an indescribable energy. Horror fluctuations are also born slowly. Soul strength is my shortcoming. If I continue to fight like this, I'm afraid I will be carried in the hands of this kid, so I can only retreat first. Black air emerged, obviously preparing to retreat. I just want to leave now. Late. Yu Mingtian is stunned. Fall for me. When the man in black just made a move, Xiao Yang's pupils suddenly opened, and a very special crisp cry slowly sounded in the enchantment. And with the crisp tweet, it was a soul attack that the man in black couldn't resist. It's not good. The black chi on the man in black was obviously created by preparing to escape, but it was instantly wiped out under Xiao Yang's terrifying offensive, and the man in black felt the attack of the soul that destroyed everything. The soul seems to be in the cold place of 10,000 years, shuddering, and a touch of fear fills my heart. Boom boom boom. A very crisp cry, but it was like a death ***** reaping his life, slowly echoing in the enchantment. When the man in black saw Xiao Yang's tyrannical attack, he didn't run away immediately, because he knew that if he didn't deal with this soul attack, he might not end up much better. Little chops. You really surprised me. After a while, a resentful voice slowly came out of the barrier. Sure enough, he didn't die. Xiao Yang glanced at the man in black who had been attacked by his own soul and was severely injured, and couldn't help but say. According to Xiao Yang's estimation, the soul power of this man in black is probably extremely weak, and his current soul power at the peak of the Emperor realm is not enough to cause a real kill. When I meet you next time, I will definitely make you feel the pain. The man in black roared with an extremely painful expression. You'd better take care of yourself first. Xiao Yang shrugged in disbelief. The man in black is already dying, yet he still speaks ruthlessly. What is this? Get out of here. As soon as Xiao Yang finished speaking, a circle of invisible soul power immediately penetrated the defense of the man in black, forcing him to a real desperate situation. With a sound, the man in black immediately lost all consciousness, apparently being temporarily suppressed by Xiao Yang's enormous soul power, and he stayed in place motionless. Brother Xiao, wait a second. Looking at the man in black, who was extremely arrogant at first, but now almost fell under the attack of Xiao Yang's soul, Qing Wen hurriedly said. It was only at this moment that Qing Wen really confirmed Xiao Yang's terror. Let me ask, a powerhouse in the early stage of one-star fighting immortal actually defeated a powerhouse in the late stage of one-star fighting immortal. If this is spread out, I am afraid it will cause a commotion in the entire Ghost King city, so Qing Wen is naturally to have a good relationship with Xiao Yang. Brother Qing, what's the matter? Xiao Yang originally planned to use his soul power to obliterate the man in black. After all, he was now in a barrier, and no one would find out. This guy's strength in the late stage of one-star fighting immortal is not low in the Yu family. I'm afraid he knows something, so. Qing Wen said directly without any hesitation. What kind of information do you want to get out of this guy's mouth? It's probably more difficult than going to the sky. Xiao Yang shook his head. Xiao Yang knew about the soul attack just now. This man in black is definitely a dead man, and he will not betray his master until his death. If you ask directly, you won't be able to ask. But it is said that alchemists have a skill called soul torture, which can use soul power to enter other people's soul realms to explore their memories. Although this method will cause incurable wounds to other people's souls, it is also a good way to face such villains. You can use it. Qing Wen smiled. Soul torture. Xiao Yang nodded slightly when he heard the words. He has naturally heard of soul torture, but in order to achieve this, at least his soul power must reach the Emperor realm. Obviously, although Xiao Yang's soul power has reached the Emperor realm, he has never done it. I'll give it a try. Xiao Yang smiled when he looked at the man in black who was in front of him. Be careful, if it doesn't work, then forget it. Qing Wen said. Okay. Xiao Yang nodded lightly and adjusted the breath in his body. After the breath recovered, the soul torture began. Come in. Xiao Yang didn't hesitate, just closed his eyes and rested, and then circles of invisible soul power emerged from his body and headed towards the man in black. It started. Qing Wen couldn't help but envied Xiao Yang's sophistication. The strength of a pharmacist's soul is related to his rank, but a pharmacist is the most sought-after profession in the entire Great Thousand World. Qing Wen couldn't refine a pharmacist because of his talent, so he was naturally very envious of Xiao Yang. Crash. Xiao Yang controlled his soul power to enter the body of the man in black. Without being hindered by anything, he came to the soul realm of the man in black very easily. This soul realm. As for the soul realm inside the man in black just now, Xiao Yang was at a loss for words. Because what appeared in front of Xiao Yang was a white light group that only touched 10 meters, and the fluctuations in this light group were the power of the soul. This guy's soul power is so weak. Xiao Yang couldn't help shaking his head. No wonder he was instantly killed by his own soul attack. It turned out that his soul power was so weak. However, Xiao Yang is also a little fortunate. If this guy's soul power is a little bit tyrannical, it will probably be a fierce battle. After all, no matter what, this guy is a real one-star late-stage powerhouse. Enter. And Xiao Yang didn't think about these things for a while, and directly controlled the soul power to invade the white light group. Boom boom boom. When Xiao Yang's soul power just touched the white light group of the man in black, the white light group of the man in black broke out an extremely tyrannical resistance, but under the suppression of Xiao Yang's huge soul power, in an instant become quiet. Time passed minute by minute. Once this time has passed, 10 minutes have passed. For 10 minutes, Xiao Yang was carefully probing the memory of the man in black, trying to find something useful, but Emperor Tian paid off. At the last moment, the memory of the man in black was still completely captured by Xiao Yang. Spy. How's it going? Qing Wen asked urgently just after seeing Xiao Yang open his eyes. Their Yu family, this time secretly colluded with other forces, trying to attack this auction and your Qing family. Xiao Yang opened his eyes and said immediately, "It is as expected. Have you found out what force it is?" Qing Wen asked. No, this guy knows about this, but the specific details are impossible to find out. But that force is not in the Ghost King city. Xiao Yang said. Looks like this auction will probably be Longtan Tiger's den. Qing Wen shook his head. What about this guy? Xiao Yang asked. Kill it. Qing Shun said. Bang bang bang. As soon as Qing Wen's words fell, Xiao Yang's fingertips jumped with blue-yellow flames, slowly wrapping around the man in black, and then the man in black's unconscious body instantly became illusory. In the next moment, there was not a trace of the soul that was directly burned by the blue-yellow flame. This is the true power of Saint Flame, and not far from here, in the ancestral hall of the Yu family mansion. In the ancestral hall of the Yu family mansion, There are hundreds of wooden plaques of different sizes standing here. Various colors slowly appear on the wooden plaques, which obviously represent various attributes. At this moment, the sound of a wooden sign breaking in the middle slowly sounded. "Hey you, has he fallen?" And the sleepy eyes in the ancestral hall opened their mouths slightly, and the voice was full of serious chills. If Xiao Yang were here, he would have recognized it at a glance. With such strength, he has reached the level of a 2-star fighting immortal. After Xiao Yang completely wiped out the man in black, the enchantment slowly dissipated, and he didn't stop at all. What a magnificent mansion. Not long after, Xiao Yang and Qing Wenwen came to the main entrance of Qing's house. Xiao Yang saw 2 incomparably huge words appearing on the plaque, Qing Mansion. "Brother Xiao, let's go. You have helped my Qing family a lot in this trip, and you can be said to be a distinguished guest of my Qing family," Qing Wen said with a smile as he looked at the door of the house in front of him. "What are you talking about? Brother Qing is very polite," Xiao Yang said with a smile. After the two were polite, they walked directly into the Qing palace. Just after entering the Qing mansion, Xiao Yang saw the guards who came and went on patrol. These guards were well trained and their strength was almost at the peak of Do Di. From this, it could be seen that the Qing family was a great family. "Brother, father has been waiting for you in the living room for a long time." Xiao Yang and Qingwen had just passed through a few alleys, and suddenly Qing's figure slowly appeared not far away. "You niece." Seeing this, Qingwen suddenly laughed. Obviously, this niece had already told her father more or less about Xiao Yang. "It's okay." Seeing this, Xiao Yang also smiled slowly. "Then let's go to the living room first." After Qing Wenwen finished speaking, she led Xiao Yang directly to the living room, but at this time, there were 3 figures standing slowly in the living room. Among the 3, there is a triangular sitting posture. The one at the top is a middle-aged man. The man is dressed in relatively simple clothes, but on that face, he sees a smile that has been through vicissitudes of life, but under that smile, it contains extremely terrifying fluctuations. The 2 figures below are an old man with white hair and a middle-aged black-haired man who is over 50 years old. "Patriarch, is the news that Qing'e said when she came back this time true?" After a while, the white-haired old man was the first to break the silence and asked. "The second head of Qingyu, you should know that Qing'e is usually taciturn. To be praised so much by her, she must be a gifted person." The first head of the family, Qingming, said. "The owner is right." The black-haired man on the next side also laughed. These 3 people are the third in command of the Qing family today. The leader is Qing Ming, the current head of the Qing family, who has the strength of a 2-star Dozian perfection. The white-haired old man is the late second-level leader of Qingyu and the second-star Dozian, and the black-haired man is the third-level leader of Qingyi. Although the Qing family has the third in command, the decisive role is still the head of the Qing family, Seimi, because whether it is strength or overall control, Seimi is very popular. But according to what Qing'e said, I'm still a little curious. The origin of this guy is unknown, but he was able to use the strength of the Do Di Peak against Yu Quan in the middle stage of the 1-star Dozian and 10 puppets of the Do Di Peak. And after he was promoted to Dozian, he defeated Yu Quan with thunder. Seimi narrowed his eyes into a line, raised his head slightly, and there was a hint of deep meaning in his eyes. "I think." As soon as Qingming finished speaking, Qingyi, the third master, wanted to speak, but was interrupted by Qingming. "They're here." Seimi opened the door slightly. Squeak. As Seimi finished speaking, the tightly closed wooden door was gently pushed open, and 2 men walked towards him. "The clerk has met his father and 2 uncles." Qing Clark said respectfully. "Ha ha ha. Document, you did a good job. It actually really broke through to the early stage of 1-star fighting immortals." Qingyi smiled, obviously with a carefree personality. "Junior Xiao Yang, I have seen 3 seniors." Seeing this, Xiao Yang clasped his fists to show respect. After all, the strength of the 3 guys in front of him, no matter who they are, is far from his own. "Are you the mysterious guy that Qing'e often mentions?" The second master Qing Yu couldn't help but look up and looked at Xiao Yang carefully. The deep pupils under his white hair seemed to want to explore Xiao Yang's bottom line exactly general. However, Xiao Yang's soul power is tyrannical. In addition to possessing Sheng Yang and Fen Zhu, although these 3 people are not weak, it seems a little difficult to see through them. "It's him. Father, Brother Xiao Yang helped us several times during our visit to Ghost Moon Well. If it wasn't for him, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to get our hands on the treasure in Ghost Moon Well. By the way, Father, this is the Mad Magic Pill, the greatest treasure we got in the Ghost Moon Well." At the next moment, Qing Wen directly took out the medicinal pill he got from the ghost moon well. What? It's actually a mad magic pill? Seeing Qing Wen's move, even the three powerful figures suddenly leaned forward. The name of the mad magic pill, they are very clear. It is an elixir that can make people improve their strength in a short period of time, and it will not have too many tyrannical side effects. It is simply a magical elixir. The reason why the Qing family has been unable to surpass the Yu family is because the Yu family has a genuine 3-star fighting fairy. The 2-star fighting immortal, of course, is a phoenix-like existence in the Ghost King city, but the 3-star fighting immortal from the Yu family can be said to be the real power of the Ghost King city. So as long as the 3-star fighting immortals of the Yu family don't have any accidents, no one can shake their overlord status. Hehe, Clark, you've worked hard for this trip. Sammy suppressed the surprise in his heart and slowly took the mad magic pill and said, he is now a 2-star Dozian with complete strength. With the addition of the mad magic pill, the Yu family's 3-star Dozian has no worries at all. Father, we are tired from this trip. Please let us retire and rest first. After all, the auction is about to start. Seeing the 3 heads of the family were quite happy, Qing Wen said. After finishing speaking, he walked to Qing Ming's ear and whispered one sentence. This statement is reasonable. Come here, arrange the residence of Brother Xiao Yan. According to the VIP rank. The next moment, after Sammy heard Qing Wen's whisper, his face was startled and he said slowly, Junior will retire first. When he left, Xiao Yang couldn't help being polite. Patriarch, what did the clerk tell you just now? Seeing Sammy, whose attitude had undergone a 180-degree change, the 2 leaders couldn't help asking. This little guy is probably a real pervert. Sure enough, people are getting old, and it's not good to refuse to accept the old. Sammy smiled. What the is going on? And the 3rd head of Qingyi was also at a loss. This guy, when his strength is still at the peak of Do Di, can stop Yuchuan and the 10 puppets of Do Di's peak strength. Later, by virtue of his strength in the early stage of the 1-star fighting immortal, he wiped out a man in black from the Yu family who was in the late 1-star fighting immortal. If I guessed correctly, the man in black is probably He Yu. Sammy smiled. And as Sammy's voice just fell, there was silence in the entire living room. What? As Sammy's voice just fell, the 2nd head of Qingyu and the 3rd head of Qingyi stood up directly from their seat. It would not be surprising if this guy could use his strength at the peak of Do Di to block Yuchuan in the middle stage of the next star Dozian and 10 puppets at the peak of Do Emperor. Killing He Yu in the late 1-star fighting immortal stage is enough to make people truly respectful. The 3 old guys all know that it is extremely difficult for a fighting immortal powerhouse at the same level to win. How terrifying. This guy, shouldn't he be the young master who came out of the big family to train? And the 3rd master, Qingyi, said with some difficulty. Many tyrannical families will release the outstanding heirs in the family to experience, one is to hone, and the other is to enrich their experience, so that they can go back to inherit the family in the future. Do not know. But when this little guy is in our Qing's house, remember to treat him with respect. There are still 3 days before the auction will start, this time bring him. And other forces, I believe, are just around the corner. The storm is about to come. I always feel that this auction does not seem to be so simple. The Yu family has been quiet for so long, so I'm afraid it's time to do something. Sammy said to himself. After speaking, there was also silence here, because they all knew the seriousness of the situation. Other places in Ghost King City are also under intense planning. The Lei Mansion. Leisha, is what you said true? Asked the first man with fluffy hair. The man has fluffy hair, but the muscles on his body are extremely burly, because this person is the current head of the Lei family, Lei Li. A real powerhouse in the late stage of the 2-star fighting immortal. Patriarch, everything I said is true. People from the Qing family didn't know where to find a helper, but they reached a consensus with the Azure Nyo Tianmu spirit beast and entered the Ghost Moonwell, so the subordinates and the Yu family had no choice but to return. Lei Shi shook his head slightly. Obviously he did not expect that this trip to Gyujing actually allowed the people of the Qing family to obtain the greatest benefit. That's all. The Qing family and the Yu family are stronger than our Lei family, but as long as good things don't fall into the hands of the Yu family, that's fine. After all, the real confrontation between the 2 Qingyu families is about to come. Lei Li said slightly as if he had thought of something. Patriarch, what are you saying? And Lei Shi, after all, is also the core figure of the Lei family, he asked. This time the City Lord's mansion reported the auction. There are not only many treasures of heaven and earth, but also what news will be announced soon. Go down. After 3 days, You will be able to know. Lei Li said. Yes. Lei Shi said in a deep voice, and then went down. Yu Family Mansion Center. Who can tell me what's going on? An angry man sat in the first place and roared angrily at a figure below. Patriarch, I don't know about Heiyu either. The shrewd man below showed a hint of fear, and hurriedly explained. By you, I need you to give me a reasonable explanation. Yu Gan questioned without giving him any rebuttal. Patriarch, to be honest, I have been living in the family since the City Lord's mansion ordered that entry and exit of the Ghost King city are strictly prohibited, and I rarely leave. And the connection with the Black Mad group has always been done by Heiyu. Bai Yu couldn't help but explain. Originally, I made an agreement with the Black Crazy group to take advantage of this auction to sack the Ghost King city, and Heiyu is naturally the core person in our Yu family's connection with the Black Crazy group. The Yu family had some unnecessary misunderstandings. Without the help of the Black Madman, I'm afraid that just relying on the strength of our Yu family would not be enough to swallow the entire Ghost King city. Yu Li shook his head and said, the Black Crazy Corps, as the name suggests, is a notorious robber force that roams outside the Ghost King city. In the entire force, there are 2 strong men in the late stage of the 2-star Dozian. Even if the Ghost King City Lord Mansion has sent strong men to besiege them many times, they are easily resolved by them. The City Lord Mansion suspects that there are black people in Ghost King City. The details of the crazy group, but they have not been able to find out who it is. Patriarch, your injury, isn't it okay? At this time, Bai Yu was stunned for a moment when he heard the words, and hurriedly asked. They know that although Yu Li's strength is in the early stage of the real 3-star Dozian, but for some reason, he has always had a dark attack that limits his strength, so his real combat power is probably similar to that of the 2-star Dozian's successful Qingming. This is also Yu Li. The reason why he has been living in the Ghost King city for many years and has not done anything to other forces. Otherwise, if Yu Li had such a strong character, he would definitely not sit still. Okay. Since the Black Feather has fallen, we must give the Black Mad group an explanation. Bai Yu, you went out of the city through the secret passage overnight and brought back the 2 leaders of the Black Crazy Squad. Once the auction is over, we will launch an attack to uproot the other 2 houses in the Ghost King city and the City Lord's mansion, Yu Li said with a smile. Patriarch, the strength of the City Lord's mansion and the Qing family's Lei family should not be underestimated. Just relying on the strength of us and the Black Crazy Squad, I'm afraid. Bai Yu clearly said with some doubts. Don't worry, I have a plan, and I can defeat each of them at that time. Yu Li said slowly. Yes. Bai Yu nodded sadly when she heard the words and immediately went down to work. This dark disease is really deadly. I knew earlier that I wouldn't risk myself for the sake of a mere fighting spirit. Although I finally got the fighting spirit, the dark disease in my body is also. But it was a blessing in disguise. I broke through the 3-star Dozian. Just because of the dark disease, the combat power is actually not much different from that of the 2-star Dozian complete powerhouse. I hope that this time the auction held by the City Lord's mansion will be included. Can there be something that can cure my dark disease? After Yu Li finished speaking, he slowly laughed. In the entire Ghost King city, apart from himself, no one has a fighting spirit at all, and the fighting spirit is his real trump card. City Lord's mansion. Is the work done properly? A man in a blue robe stood in the hall and asked a soldier in armor. Report to Lord City Lord. Things have been done properly. The Yu family is also colluding with the Black Madman according to our plan, and it is estimated that they will attack us. The strength of the soldiers wearing armor is also the powerhouse of the 2-star Dozian. That's good. The Yu family has too much ambition. After this auction, let's eradicate it completely. And we have the adult's clone coming to the scroll, and it is useless to let him stand in the tyrannical Samsung fighting immortal. The city owner said slightly. Master Shengming. The soldier smiled when he heard the words. Go on, be vigilant these few days, you still have to look like you should. City Lord Zaidu said. After speaking, the soldier disappeared without a trace, leaving the City Lord alone. Even I am quite moved by the things in this auction, but in order to participate in our Eastern Continent ratio, I can only give it to these little guys. After the City Lord finished speaking, he slowly fell silent. This video will end here.